Good evening, everyone. Thanks to all of you for making time to be here with us. We are more than happy to host you, to receive you, and thanks to all our panelists and participants. Today we are going to speak about a very important subject. A very important subject on all sides: climate change, sustainability, healthcare, well-being, biotechnology. This panel will be, we are going to discuss all stage. We can see on our panelists' expertise, they are from a different field. Why? Because in Global Innovation Institute, we believe that the only one way to innovate and to change the world is only by collaboration. Collaboration between all sectors. First of all, collaboration between all countries. That is why we bring people from global stage, from different fields, to discuss how can we together build a life science R&D with eco-responsible actions. All sides, we are going to talk about all sides. And thanks to everyone, I will not take more time. I will let Dr. Burhan start with his welcoming speech, and Dr. Amna will introduce all speakers. They will present themselves, and we will start.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's my great pleasure having you in this grateful webinar, which can connect between the innovation in the health farming and the ecosystem in the environmental sustainability, and how we can connect between the environment and the epigenomics relating the increase the heat and others for climate change on the earth warming. This webinar, I hope all of us join to adding value in the innovation regarding the this topic. Thank you to give me this chance to introduce all of you to this webinar. And I will hand the talk to Dr. Alma.
Thank you, Dr. Burhan. Once again, welcome to all of you, and thanks for taking time to be here. Dr. Amna?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Allama and Dr. Burhan. So to begin our conversation on solid common ground, I would like to start with a unified opening question addressed to all our distinguished speakers. But before, I would like to ask Dr. Burhan to introduce himself, please.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody listening, and to the organizers for preparing this meeting. My name is Juan. I'm originally from Barcelona. I'm a molecular biologist by training, and I'm the CEO of the Biotechnology Business Institute. So, as I was saying, I'm a molecular biologist by training. My expertise is, well, I did my fair period of time in academia. I worked for the pharmaceutical industry as well. And we set up the Biotechnology Business Institute body back in 2013. So we have been working in the innovation space through different angles that we can discuss, and probably they will come up during the discussion in different ecosystems. So we have been helping, obviously, new ecosystems in Europe, but also in North America, Central America, South America, and other parts of the world. Actually, that's one of the main reasons why we are here, because we believe that Middle East is investing a lot in this next step. So that's in a nutshell my background. Thank you very much for organizing and being here. I'm very happy to start a discussion.
Welcome, Doctor. It's great pleasure. Maybe me and you in the same track. I'm oncologist and molecular biology, and I'm very happy to meeting you today. And we hope to adding value all of us regarding our knowledge and experience. Thank you, Doctor, to join us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're most welcome, Dr. Juan. So I'll ask you our unified opening question. From your perspective, why is it urgent today to transition towards sustainable and eco-responsible life sciences ecosystems? And what does this transformation mean for your field?
Are we starting with me? Okay. Okay, so I will open probably Pandora's box here. I think, well, this question definitely can be answered from different perspectives, but we live nowadays, and again, although we work in innovation, I probably move towards everything that has to do with healthcare. We have done green biotech, blue biotech, and other types of innovation, but definitely I'm speaking from a life sciences healthcare perspective, red biotech, if you please. But the thing that, on one hand, I think that, and obviously the Biotechnology Business Institute is an academic institution, so we have had the opportunity to work with different lecturers from all over the world, different perspectives, different fields. And I think that, just to open the debate and the discussion, I think that in that sense, the opportunities that we have been facing, innovation is quite a relative new sector, if we might say. Probably it started with the first antibodies being transferred in Cambridge, UK, not Massachusetts, by the late 90s. And from there, probably the UK, the East Coast and the West Coast took the lead in terms of the East Coast and the West Coast of the US in terms of innovation. Europe, I had the privilege to work with different parts of Europe, and that's quite recently, probably the last 15 years, something like that, 20 years that they have been pushing. And I think that that brings to the ecosystem. So from my perspective, and that's why I was saying that we can start a discussion with that and take it from there. I think that any ecosystem needs to have 4 main pillars. And this is what we are seeing, that different regions or areas of the world are trying to balance. And I think that the challenge for every region is understanding in which is strong, and in which part is strong, and in which part needs to improve. So those main pillars being obviously public investment, that could be one of the main ones, tools at the end for entrepreneurship to become a reality. Private investment, obviously everything that has to do with venture capitalism, private equity is important and has to go to the hand with public policies. Science, it doesn't matter what field. I mean, at the end, good research, good universities, good research centers, laboratories, and facilities to develop that science is important. And the fourth one, in my opinion, is talent. So at the end, people has to have that knowledge globally, how the system works, and uh, not taking into consideration the differences, but the main things, but the things that they have in common. I think that if we speak in innovation in general, that relationship within university, entrepreneurs, public entities, and private entities, nationally and internationally, in terms of collaborations, as we were saying at the beginning of the seminar, it's very important. So I don't know if that answered the question, but at least I think that that is a good starting point for understanding what a healthy ecosystem should be. And again, I think that it's important to remain to keep in mind that everything that I have said have to be taken from a national perspective, but for at an international perspective as well, because innovation doesn't have frontiers at the end. We try to make an impact to society from a product into different parts of the world.
Yes, I agree with you totally, Doctor. One of the crucial and that crucial thing that all of us aware about the how we can persuade the investors to invest in the innovation and to make them as adding value for their community and the worldwide community. And because um, yes, one of the crucial things and challenging that facing nowadays is the how we can persuade investors to invest in the innovation, uh, like our what are and how we can transfer the idea from research to the real work. Thank you very much, Doctor, for your adding value to us. Thank you, Doctor.
My pleasure.
Thank you for this insightful perspective. Dr. Edita, the floor is yours. Would you please introduce yourself and answer?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much having me, and I'm so blessed and glad that I made it because I informed you we had the graduation today, so I was running. However, a little bit about me. I am actually public health specialist with more, I think, the 20 years around education, healthcare management, and epigenetics. Always blending academia and industry. So yes, more, but education is my main focus. To be very specific, sustainability is very important in healthcare, in health education. Yeah, it's let's begin.
Yeah, you're most
So you
welcome. So it's the same unified opening question I repeated. From your perspective, why is it urgent today to transition towards sustainable and eco-responsible life sciences ecosystems? And what does this transformation mean for your field?
So I will tackle the questions from the perspective specifically climate change and how the climate change will influence human biology and in general us. So I think the environmental factors are very, very important, and the climate change definitely affects the human biology far beyond the environmental just exposure for air pollution or heat, like we addressed at the beginning. And I think raising temperature or the factors which I had just address, they are the main, or I will say they are causing in the human body, let's say, inflammation and increasing the stress. From my opinion, they are the main factors causing the chronic condition. So I'm always saying to the patient, you need to manage your inflammation. You need to avoid any risk factors coming from the environment as well, which they can cause inflammation. So for me, I love the root causes usually, and I'm into the preventive medicine fully. So I don't want to reach that we need to treat. Of course, we know it's much more expensive. So starting from the root causes and environmental factors and influencing on our body, and again, will be the main, is inflammation. However, I want to tackle from the epigenetic perspective, because we are talking about the environment and not only air or water or what we are just consuming, is much more factors which we can consider. Shortly, the environment is influencing the gene expression. When we talk about the epigenetics, it's switch on, switch off very shortly. And if we are exposed for the harmful environment, our gene, they will respond automatically, very quickly. And very quickly, however, to develop the chronic condition, it's the long term. I'm always saying we are not developing diabetes or hypertension overnight. It's the long process, yes? So from the epigenetic perspective, I really advocate to take care of environmental factors. I advocate for lifestyle medicine as a tool to prevent and teach and educate patients how they can truly take the ownership even on their own health, and understanding the all, again, environmental factors, the harmful factors, and eliminate them from their environment. So I think shortly, as a conclusion, health education will be the key element, very important to not only educate students, but I think the general society's humanity about lifestyle medicine, how the lifestyle medicine can help prevent and switch on the positive genes, not necessarily. I will just give you shortly idea, which I'm most of the time when I'm trying to explain to my students, what is the epigenetics? Imagine you have the computer is the hardware, and then you have software. So the software is simply epigenetics, which you can change, because we know that the genetics, DNA, it's fixed somehow. Yes, we're born even with the genetic diseases. However, through the epigenetics, we have full control on our health, yeah. So I think this is the beautiful opportunity. I think nowadays we are starting talking more and more about the epigenetics and the lifestyle medicine, even here in the region. And for me, I spent a couple of years, I will say, and we can truly reverse chronic conditions. Nowadays, we talk about the longevity, living a longer life, yes, but my main focus, I think, is chronic conditions such as cancer, diabetes, and environment is everything, actually. So, yeah, thank you for the question.
Thank you for this valuable reflection. Dr. Mazen, we could appreciate hearing your view after introducing yourself, please.
Sure, absolutely. Again, thank you again for the organization. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and it's really good to be with you. Thank you so much for the invitation. I think from an introduction point of view, I come from an engineering background, and I did my research and PhD in healthcare, specifically in the area of quantum electronics and nanotechnology for cancer detection. So I came in from the quantum electronics, physics into imaging, and then worked in the field in digital health and healthcare consultancy for the last maybe 25 years. Been in the UAE for around 47 years, so that's seen it come a long way. I think your question is just if you can repeat it, why now? Why
Yes.
now look for research? That's
The
my
question
little.
is about why is it urgent today to transition towards sustainable and eco-responsible life sciences ecosystem, and what does this transformation mean for your field?
So I would take it from a perspective of creating depth in the healthcare system. So why now? I think for the first 50 years of, for example, the UAE, um, 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 uh, for the UAE life, I think we were looking at healthcare from a consumption point of view. A lot of actually width and a lot of focus on building the hospitals and the clinics. And I think since COVID, we are looking at creating more depth, specifically in research and creating more research-driven, sustainable healthcare system. So the Dubai Health Academic Corporation is a good example of us transitioning into a depth-driven healthcare system. Healthcare is an industry that is driven by research and scientific discovery, and that's why I believe it's the right time now to get into the different aspects of research as well as clinical discovery and clinical trials. If we talk about lifestyle and specifically the sciences of advanced healthcare, specifically in the area of clinical research, I believe the time is upon us to try and drive more of the academic and healthcare kind of expansion, and we see this uh, very evident in the Saudi healthcare system, where you have a lot of university health or university hospital or hospital university systems. So mostly research and academic healthcare system that actually encourages a lot of research. I believe what we can do is look at the trajectory and some of the strategies that we're seeing in the sovereign wealth funds in Abu Dhabi, specifically looking at very advanced research investments, looking at genomics, looking at all the multiomics advancements that we are seeing. A lot of investments are driven in, and also we're seeing a lot of longevity, a much more research-driven sectors of healthcare, working closely with the Department of Health in Abu Dhabi, seeing how they are guiding the investments and guiding the expansion of healthcare towards the research. Because healthcare cannot be transactional anymore. Commercially driven healthcare and an insurance-based only healthcare does not provide sustainability in your healthcare ecosystem. If you look at healthcare around the world, you see there's a lot of great research that is driven from Switzerland to Europe to UK to the US. And that's what we are trying to do in the region. And that's why, for example, I would celebrate some of the great efforts that are done in the UAE and Saudi Arabia, specifically to attract some of the advancements. We know that the bio convention is coming to Saudi Arabia in May, and that's a clear indication the biotechnology is being a huge target on a national level. We're seeing also the CPHI, one of the main known research conferences in the area of pharma life sciences, and we see that come to the Riyadh arena as well. So, and again, a lot of investments and a lot of conversion and transformation. I believe that academia needs to work hard to catch up, and we're seeing this now in the UAE, the likes of Khalifa University. I know Sharjah University is doing quite a lot, and that's commendable, because I think the academic institutions need to stay at the same speed of investment and transformation. Saudi Arabia has done quite a great job by bringing KAUST and KAXT and Al Faisal University into the game really early by investing in academic healthcare ecosystems right back at the beginning. National Guard health system is one of the most advanced in, we work pretty closely with KAIMAR, King Abdullah International Medical Research Center, and so on and so forth, to showcase the importance of the research-based health system and advancements in that. And that's in general. I'm just talking basically from a health system ecosystem point of view. Thank you for that.
Thank you for this comprehensive perspective. And now I would invite Dr. Allama.
Thank you, Dr. Amna, for your moderation, mashallah. Thanks to all previous speakers for their introduction and their first comments. We are actually going to start with Madam Zahara. Madam Zahara, she's here. Yes.
Yeah.
As you know, we are actually 1 week after the COP30, where a Global Innovation Institute was a part. The heart of discussion was about financing mechanism for to implement all strategy they talk about, and they was talking about during many years. This year, COP30 was special. It was special because it was about implementation. It was not about the framework building or discussions. Can you please, from your perspective as investment strategist, to tell us how it's urgent today to transition towards sustainable and eco-responsible lifestyle ecosystem, and what does this transformation mean for you and your field?
Thank you, Dr. Alama. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure being here with all of you. So just to give you a very quick introduction about myself. So my name is Zahra Fatah. I'm the CEO and founder of Kent Consulting and Events. We are an economic development consulting firm. We increasingly work with government organizations, facilitating trade and investment amongst the countries we work with. Healthcare and health tech, including AI and emerging technologies, are very important factors for us. So according to our research, health systems contribute to up to 5% of global emissions, making sustainability a strategic necessity. Climate-driven health risk demands resilience and cost efficiency. Digitalization, such as AI and decentralized trials, can reduce these emissions while accelerating innovation. In the UAE, this aligns with initiatives such as Net Zero 2050 and We the UAE 2031, supported by green clusters such as Masdar City and Health, as well as others. From the investor and government point of view, we believe that it's a very exciting time to be here, and I agree with Mazin's sentiment that strategic partnerships and R&D partnerships are crucial as ever. We witnessed this because we do several trade delegations supporting health tech and healthcare companies coming to the UAE, but equally also we take companies from the UAE to other countries. And I also agree with the fact that subsectors such as genomics is heavily invested in, and the UAE is also looking for not only for expertise, but also heavily invests in those sectors. So I think it's a very exciting time for those companies.
Thank you for this thoughtful contribution, Mrs. Zahra. Now I would like to welcome Dr. Wendy. Please allow us to conclude this question with your insights. And would you please introduce yourself first?
Thank you. Can you hear me? Thank you so
Yes.
much for having me. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity. I just want to clarify, I'm just a miss, not a Wendy, not a doctor. My background is in clinical research, and I worked 5 years in Singapore in a public hospital, and then I was at a clinical research a contract research organization for almost 12 years actually. My expertise is in study startup. And for the question to the panelists about why it is urgent and what it means for our industry right now, I really agree with what Mazin shared, that we have been trying very hard to do the width, and then now we are trying to go into the depth just to find out how we can be more sustainable, because ultimately it is everybody's responsibility to do something for global warming. As much as there are also conspiracies saying that this is not really happening. I mean, we live in Dubai, we know how hot it is already. And I also want to say in our industry, just because how important it is to be safe and protect ourselves from biohazards, even in clinical trial participants, everything is single use, and I think it is up to regulators and as well as um the pharmaceutical companies to come up with innovations that can reuse plastics or the consumables, that we can ultimately make it more sustainable and less wasteful. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing these important considerations. Dr. Juan, my first question to you is how can biotechnology education and training integrate sustainability principles to better prepare the next generation of scientists and innovators?
Well, I mean, I think that if we speak in terms of education, as I was saying, and actually it goes along the lines of what we have been speaking. I mean, I think that it's a matter of growing or nurturing that in-house expertise in the country that wants to develop those type of ecosystems. And I think that in terms of, as I was saying as well at the beginning, learning from success cases, and not success cases, but also for the ones that has not been successful, is important to bring that to any of the ecosystems. At the end, we think that the world is very big, but it's not that big, and we are all very interconnected. So I literally live that in Europe and in South America. So I think that, and when we speak about biotech, as we were saying, obviously healthcare is one of the most important things, or one of the main ones, but there are other type of innovations. I agree completely. I agree completely in the importance of having expertise from different parts of the world. So I think that at the end, when we speak from education or executive talent. I think that partnerships, so if we speak about individuals, I think that it's important to give them the opportunity to have this knowledge from different experts, from different sub areas. So at the end, tech transfer is one thing, IP is one thing, investment is one thing, clinical trials is another one. So at the end, if we want to have a good base, critical mass in our ecosystem, it is important that these new generations have that mindset in mind. And as well in terms of partnerships. So not if we don't speak about individuals, but speak about as Tara was mentioning, at the end, those interactions between different agencies attracting foreign direct investment and other type of partnerships, when it was mentioning that as well, partnerships with the industry, I think that it's important. So it's kind of educating individuals, but educating ourselves as well as ecosystem and the type of partnerships that we need to do or the goals that we want to achieve. At the end, I think that focus is important when we are kind of developing a new ecosystem, because we cannot be good at everything. We can be good at GMPs, we can be good. Obviously, we have to have a base of everything, but I don't know, medical devices or digital health or AI at the end. I think that it's important as well to see the strengths that we have as an ecosystem. So yeah, global expertise, sharing, speaking, partnering. I think that those are words that we need to give to next generations and actually apply that to ourselves. That I'm sure that we'll do. But yeah.
Thank you. That was an excellent overview. Dr. Edita, moving to you. How does climate change directly influence the human biology, epigenetics, and long-term health outcomes?
Thank you so much for the question. And if you allowed me to add one comment, that I fully agree that interdisciplinary collaboration is truly the key. We cannot work alone, and truly related to the health outcomes. Not only the medicine is shaping outcomes alone, we need to add different sectors, behavioral aspect, urban planning, and so on. Truly, environmental factors influence human biology, and understanding how we just said that the climate is changing, and all of us, we need to contribute to save our planet. So like I said at the beginning, understanding, and I know, so starting from the base, from the educator perspective, I really advocate for changing the medical curriculum and add not only AI, which is the AI great tool and can help us in order to predict and prevent, even related to environmental factors. We spoke about the research, which is a very important part, and I'm representing academia, so still I feel there is a lot of gaps and huge potential for the collaboration and how we can shape together even the policies. So going back to your question related to the human biology and environmental factors, epigenetics. So the key element is, like I said at the beginning, again, education, understanding how this all environmental factors such as air, heat, is truly influencing our body and have direct relation to inflammatory biomarkers or heat. There is the research it's related to the cardiovascular diseases. So I think this is very crucial element, and we need to just come together and try to emphasize more, because even in my school, I'm teaching since 9 years American University in Emirates. Actually, it's healthcare management, my specialization. However, I have a couple of topics related to the public health still, and sustainability, of course, but it's not enough, I will say. So we need more emphasizing solution. Our students, the new generation, is our future. So if we will allow them to understand that they have full control as well on their own environment. I'm not talking now about environment and the climate change, because however, our daily habits, for example, water, yes, consumption, or waste of management and water, or we need to be aware about this, that we are small steps making the big difference. I'm saying if all of us, we will just do small steps, we can together make the difference. And again, I said this at the beginning, inflammation is the biggest challenge from the medical perspective, and it's proven environmental factors, inflammation, so genetics, switch on, switch off. We need to do whatever is possible to eliminate harmful factors from our environment.
Thank you for this deep and evidence-based perspective.
Thank you.
Dr. Mazen, how can AI accelerate the transition toward eco-responsible R&D and digital clinical trials?
That's a very good question. And I think maybe one step before the AI comes in, we need data. I think if you look at the Netherlands use case or story, Netherlands have started with a benchmark. As Zahra said, the benchmark is 5% of the carbon footprint is contributed to by healthcare. So the Netherlands used their research capabilities and went further, and they found out that the healthcare ecosystem in the Netherlands contributes to around 4.4% or 4.4% to the carbon emission in the Netherlands, which is, again, that's the first thing. So we need the help of the academia, the regulators, to start establishing our baseline. What is the carbon footprint contribution to the healthcare ecosystem in the UAE? As opposed to the 5% benchmark, we need to understand, first of all, where do we stand? What is the current state? Number two, as we start analyzing further, and that's why research is an important aspect, as we go into a depth of a healthcare system that understands the importance of data and research, we need to understand where is the most contributing factor in a hospital environment to the carbon emission. And you know what? According to the Netherlands, where they have something called the Green Initiative, they found out that 60% of the carbon emission comes from the operating rooms. Right. So if you ask me that, there is data that we can utilize that in order for us to start analyzing the benchmark before or do the baseline and establish a benchmark before we start thinking about AI modeling. AI modeling is not a tool or a product we can buy from any company or a tech company and then just implement. No. AI starts with data availability, data quality. We need to understand. And by the way, if you look at the actual targets that was set by the initiative by the UAE net zero by 2050, Department of Health Abu Dhabi already set a goal to reduce the carbon emission by 20% by 2030. But I would love to actually take that further and say, okay, if I'm gonna, in a healthcare ecosystem, as a regulator, I'm gonna say I'm gonna reduce the carbon emission by 20% by 2030. I need to make sure that I have enough data to measure the private sector and the public sector healthcare provider emissions in order to start with an average on a state level, on an emirate level. So far, we're not going to see a lot of pharmaceutical manufacturing in the UAE, and we are seeing some of it being built. But what I'm saying is that the contribution of the pharmaceutical life sciences might be minimal compared to the provider sector or the insurance sector, for example, that is widely engraved in the healthcare system. So I think the AI modeling, you have to go 3 steps back. First of all, do we have data? Do we know the baseline? Do we have research capabilities to start digesting the data that we have in order for us to start putting targets? And number 2, do we have the regulation and a policy to enforce it? Are we gonna make every hospital in the healthcare sector produce reports of their carbon emission, their waste management capabilities? And for me to actually produce enough data there for us to build smart system based on AI. How is the waste management happening? Is it a green hospital or green infrastructure? Are they using still data centers that are actually water consuming or electricity consuming? So there's a lot of data points that I think we still can build in order for us to start modeling. And again, the hospital or the pharmacy network of or the pharmacy groups might not have this data available yet, but it's good to start establishing mechanisms and methodologies to start putting this data out there. And by the regulator mandating that, perhaps we're able to start with a data set that can enable us to start building AI algorithm. There's a lot of AI out there and there's a lot of good tools, but do we have, number 1, the data that we can build upon it? Do we have enough resources and capabilities and talent to actually run the ecosystem, run the research? Even if you say Mediclinic or King's College, do we have the research capabilities or research partners for them to actually run these algorithms and try to test out the data and the quality of data? Do we work with, for example, tech providers, tech partners to see if there is a sandbox that can be built on a provider level in order for me to kidnap the data and build some testing grounds of it? And where would the hospital invest in it? If I'm a private sector CFO or CEO, green initiatives and AI algorithm for climate change and carbon footprint might not be my priority. My priority is maybe to tackle claims, reduce rejection, increase my profitability, and then maybe green initiatives. So I would love to see that, and maybe that's to Dr. Edita, maybe that's a research project. Maybe do a survey for all the CEOs and CFOs in the hospitals. Say, how far is your green initiative from your top 3 priority? Number 1. Number 2, do you have enough data to actually build some research projects to build AI algorithm for us to start looking at how to make this lucrative? How do we incentivize hospital and clinic networks and groups for them to contribute to climate change? Because again, pharmaceutical contribution might be less if we do the research. Insurance companies might have a portion of carbon emission footprint, but the vast majority of carbon emission would be providers or distributors, could be. Again, I don't know if the data is available, but I would love to see the data. The AI algorithm is at the end of the value chain. If we have the data, we have the talent, and we have I think the support of the regulators and the partnership of the ecosystem.
Much appreciated. Very forward-looking explanation. Mrs. Zahra, how are family offices evaluating sustainability and ESG when investing in health and life sciences today?
Thank you. Thank you for the question, Dr. Amna. So yeah, there's different ways to monitor ESG targets. In the UAE family offices, they normally, they embed ESG through green bonds, sukuk, and sustainability, like monitoring sustainability KPIs. So this approach normally ensures compliance with global standards and attracts impact-driven investments. Across the GCC, similar frameworks like Vision 2030 also reinforce this trend, creating a regional hub for sustainable health innovation. Generation shifts towards, moves towards impact investing. And one very important point to mention is the generation shift in family offices. Family offices, as the generation shift, we have more and more females that are in leadership of regional family offices, and females tend to invest more in ESG than their male counterparts. This is something that we have been witnessing lately, which is very interesting information. Thank you.
Thank you for enriching the discussion with an investor stance. Mrs. Wendy, what operational practices can reduce the environmental footprint during site selection and contracting?
So for us, during site selection, one of the very key things we want to look at is how capable the capability of the local labs, whether they are able to run the tests required in the trial. If so, this is from a logistic and shipping point of view. If the site can and can have the capability to run the test on its own lab, this can reduce quite a bit of the shipping cost. And then another very key thing that I think is a very good initiative for industry to consider is the decentralized clinical trial, or a hybrid mode. This is actually something not just for the industry, but also for the regulators and the ethics committees, because there is still quite a lot of challenges in order to implement this for the sites as well as the pharma companies. I can think of another item, which is when we have to ship the supplies for the investigational drugs to the sites. Ideally, they shouldn't be shipped in bulk at one time, because they have very short shelf life. If a lot have been shipped over, and then maybe the recruitment isn't very ideal, some of the items might already have been expired by the time we can get the first patient in. So some of these are the things that I can think of for site selection. Thank you.
Thank you for this clear and practical insight. Dr. Juan, based on your experience at BBI, what are the key elements required to build a competitive and eco-responsible biotechnology ecosystem?
Well, I think that we have been circling around the question. So the main things at the end is obviously, as I was saying, those 4 pillars to have a successful biotech ecosystem. But apart, obviously, we need, so from the public perspective, we need some governance and incentives. So it depends on what we consider an eco and healthy ecosystem. So at the end, it should be balanced. So and if it is an early stage, I think that there are different points that we could take into consideration. At the end, the value of an ecosystem, if we try to monetize it, we can look it from the impact perspective. So what impact are we doing into society at an international level, and where can this innovation be applied in different markets? And obviously, it hasn't been mentioned in the conversation now. I mean, during this conversation, but I think that it is important as well. A healthy ecosystem in innovation in general has to be based in a good intellectual property. and that's something that on one hand each government has to give the tools to the universities, but there are different examples. So here in Europe, normally you have like a governmental framework, and then the universities can slightly modify that type of relationship with the researchers, and that can be applied in any type of sector. But I think that, yeah, if we are speaking about growing and focus an early stage innovation ecosystem, and I like very much the distinction that Martin did before, because when we speak about innovation and healthcare, sometimes we can get confused. One thing, on one hand, we have innovation and research and development, so that's pretty much laboratories, and then we have healthcare consumption, that's providers, manufacturing, etc. So if we speak about the first part in terms of developing that early stage projects or critical mass, I think that IP and again, it always goes through education, or if not, industry collaborations. But I think that it's important to have that IP balance, and that goes through universities and IP and researchers in the ecosystem. So again, a healthy biology or life is all about balance, right? So if we have these government initiatives, and we are seeing that in Saudi, as the relationship that, for example, was announced within the FDA and the Saudi FDA, that's a very major step, because then you can prepare or do clinical trials in collaboration, and then market access. That's something that we haven't speak. Also could be easier. So I mean, you can do it from, I mean, you can interpret it from different perspectives, but I will just kind of as a close-up, I think that again, public initiatives regarding governmental initiatives and considering universities in that same area or part, local private equity will attract as well foreign investment. And as I was saying, the science, so the facilities, and then obviously the people. That's been our experience in different ecosystems all over the world. So it's no different here or another parts. I mean, I think that we have to create all those partnerships. And from my perspective, so our company is based in the UK, although I live most of the time in Barcelona. We have seen that that's the success key for a healthy long-term ecosystem. So it's just if you want to attract talent, if you want to attract people, if you want to attract investment, if you want to put yourself in the map, put yourself in the spot, it's important to have all those type of considerations into mind, depending. That would be
Thank
the
you.
summary.
Thank you for highlighting these essential elements. Dr. Edita, what types of scientific data and indicators are most critical for integrating environmental health risks into life sciences research?
Thank you so much for the question. And I will again go back to Dr. Mazin and the previous speaker. Is the data. So, and the AI, yes. So I really, I am into the AI as a preventive part of the preventive predicted medicine. And I really believe this is a great tool. But when we talk and when we need the data, we need to feed the AI to be able to get the great outcomes. So I think it's not enough research and the data related to environmental factors. And shortly we can say lifestyle. I know in United Arab Emirates, specifically in Abu Dhabi, the first is Cleveland integrating lifestyle medicine for the cancer patient. And then the research started, how environmental factors, sleep, nutrition, activities, physical activities, because all these factors truly, really matter. Not only related factors to quality of air pollution, what we said on the global scale, and related to the warming. So I always look at two aspects: the one which the humans are able to manage by themselves, which is more related to the lifestyle medicine, and still is the need more research is needed, a collection of the data, and based on this data through the AI, using AI, we will be able to shape preventive models. And on the global scale, when we consider epigenetic markers, air, water, and I think important factor is the microbiome in our gut health, because our health truly it's coming actually from your mind. I'm always saying that your thoughts, what you speak, become your reality, and your gut health. So I'm really into helping anyone to again take ownership and use the knowledge, because actually the knowledge is the key, understanding epigenetics factors, how we can truly heal ourselves, because on the end of the day we cannot change systems, and I'm trying to contribute more than 20 years and advocating and changing, because I'm in education more than 20 years, working with the government on the shaping the new policies. So it's a long process. And like we said, all of us, we need to come together and support each other, and definitely one day we will be able to perhaps have more changes. But I really concentrate since couple of years educating the youth, the children, understanding, to allow them to understand sustainability, again, epigenetics, what does it mean, the lifestyle medicine, how the lifestyle choices and changes can shape the more healthy future. So yes, shortly, really we need more data, more collaboration to understand and connect environmental exposure to biological outcomes. And yeah, and I hope all of us together we can contribute to better sustainable future. Thank you.
Thank you. That was a very rigorous and enlightening answer. Dr. Mazen, what governance frameworks are needed to ensure AI adoption in life sciences remains ethical, energy efficient, and sustainable?
Wow. That's a good question. But I mean, frameworks and governance models that allow more ethical and responsible use of AI in life sciences in relation to climate change, or in general? Maybe in general, I guess.
General and climate.
I don't, again, life sciences. I mean, I would look at, for example, if I'm in the UAE and I'm monitoring the healthcare system from a climate from a green perspective, right? There are maybe 4 or 5 areas that you can look at to try and monitor I guess the use of AI. Are we talking about, for example, decarbonization or the carbon footprint reduction, carbon footprint? Are we talking about the green hospital and the building infrastructure that we're gonna look at, whether it's the hospitals or the laboratories or the clinics? If we're looking at, for example, waste management and how do we actually recycle that, whether it comes to paperless or not? Are we talking about mobility and the emission that happens through specifically, for example, supply chain, and then the area of measurement? So if I am to take life sciences specifically in this region, I would definitely, number one, I would need to create a baseline that I can start from before actually applying or implementing any AI. Try to understand what is the contribution of let's say carbon footprint from the life sciences perspective in terms of waste, in terms of mobility reduction, in terms of how do we actually drive climate sustainability or eco-friendly frameworks within this sector, specifically life sciences. And then I would actually monitor the ethical use of AI but from the word go. So the first step from before you develop any AI algorithm, you need to make sure that the data is qualified enough and available enough for you to start building AI algorithm. You start from the certification process. If I'm to actually develop an ethical AI, responsible AI use of AI, I would want to develop a certification process that allows us to number one, monitor the processing of these algorithms. Are we able to retract or undo some of the data? Do we look at the output? Is it accurate enough? Is it meaningful enough? How much hallucination is there? I would definitely run those AI models through a certification process that will be handled on a national level, perhaps by the Emirates Drug Establishment or by the different healthcare authorities, whether it's the Department of Health Abu Dhabi or the Dubai Health Authority. And then you put some sort of measurement targets on every, for example, on a regular basis, whether it's a license-driven process that I would look at in order to monitor the ethicality of it and the transparency of it, and how much is the AI algorithm is contributing to the healthcare outcome, for example. So again, from a licensing perspective and even pre-licensing perspective, I would start measuring the ethical use of the AI before it actually is put together. I would look at the data that it gets fed in. I would test it out. I will run through clinical trials with this AI model, just like any pharmaceutical product, before it gets certified. And even after that, if it's certified, you will run your clinical governance on top of it by actually monitoring the AI algorithm and the uses of AI algorithm, and either using similar tools like quality management systems, where you look at the near misses or you look at the misinformation that you might get from this AI algorithm, and then you decide on its viability, perhaps. So again, I would treat AI like any product in life sciences, where you have to go through a lot of pre-approvals before it gets licensed. And then you actually put some measurements as you go through. Again, the frameworks and governance models that I see so far are driven in similar fashion. So Saudi FDA or the US FDA goes through approval process, software as a medical device or AI models, just like any products, any pharmaceutical products. And then you put actually measurements as you start utilizing that on milestone basis to try and see the viability, or if there is any misinformation or any hallucination from the data. Depends on the aspects of those AI models and how you would use them in climate change or outside climate change for clinical research. I hope that helps.
Thank you for this critical and well-framed explanation. I think Professor Sharif Fahmy has an interaction.
Thank you. I appreciate that, doctors. It's
Hello,
my pleasure to
Professor
be.
Sharif.
Hi, how
Welcome,
are you?
Professor Sharif Fahmy. co-leader in healthcare community.
Okay.
You're most
Thank
welcome.
you so much for being with you all, the panelists, and this perfect interviewing. It's my sincere pleasure and honor to be talking to you about this one of the very promising future bright technology that will overcome the healthcare, climate change, whatever. Simply, that's me. I'm a professor, as a former, dean and provost from Nottingham University, chef innovation for Five in London, and many, many other initiatives. Right now, I'm sitting on a board member for Dubai I campus, one of the governmental initiatives working using AI for different perspectives and aspects already, talking about sustainable, smart city, healthcare, fintech, and all of that. And we are happy and proud of launchings of more than 185 companies, startup companies. So it's been a long while in order to talk about the use of AI, whatever. But AI is something very sensitive, and some things hold a lot of potential for many people. It's already talking about healthcares or precision medicines, personalized medicines, genomics, therapy, and all of that. Last week, so the week before, I talked about the Forbes healthcare leaders Middle East summits already in Abu Dhabi, talking about the use of AI for the DNA decoding and repairing as well. So it's a lot of things. So AI is something very factual and being in field like 10 years ago. So I'm talking my experience with Pfizer's AI, the data science, how we can manage the data science. The data science is being managed, but this is very sensitive. We use that for the COVID vaccines, mRNA technology, but it's not available for the public's usage, but it's available. I mean, for some giant pharmaceutical company or a big biotech company. But the only thing is how we can manage all of these data science for general purposes. Talking about the personalized medicines, preventive medicines, how we
I think we lost him.
Hello, sorry about interruptions. Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, Professor,
It,
now we can hear you.
sorry about that. It's a UAE national holiday here, so maybe there is a lot of crowd and a lot of things already. Apologize one more time for that. So the thing is the use of AI. All of the people, the panelists, whatever they are talking about AI. AI is very potential, but only the challenges. I talk already with some seniors already in Abu Dhabi, and in Department of Health, the G42, Cleveland Clinic Abu Dhabi, the DHCC in Dubai, whatever. I mean, some others. So we are in need of more governance and more ethical for that, for not only for and products with that. The thing is, we are in need of some skilled personnel and a lot of initiatives underway in order to hire mercenaries in order to run all of these. Other thing also is, from their perspectives, is insurance. Insurance company will not pay because it's something it's still trial. So no one pay. So whenever that we have patients and we use it for preventions or for or for neurodegenerative diseases as well. If you want to make a room for makes or economics, whatever for that, the company will cover us, unfortunately. So the thing is there's some ethics, some rules has to be.
The connection is lost again. Yes. Okay, so we'll continue until Professor Sharif is back. I'll ask Mrs. Zahra. From an investor's perspective, what makes a biotechnology or digital health project both sustainable and financially attractive, please?
Sure. Impact investors are
It's
usually
okay.
looking.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's
Shall
okay.
I
No, it's okay. No,
continue?
no, 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 no worries.
Oh,
It's a connections error, so it's okay. Go ahead, doctor. We are all
okay, I
yours.
will make it short.
The stage
So,
is yours. Take your time. It's
thank
okay.
you, thank you. So yeah, I mean, in the UAE or generally, impact investors are normally looking for projects that combine strong ESG compliance with clear commercial scalability. Sustainability is now a regulatory and financial imperative. Also very important to note that federal ESG mandates, which are coming into effect in 2025, mean that projects embedding carbon reduction, green infrastructure, and transparent reporting gain priority access to capital and government partnerships. Other than that, alignment with national strategies and clusters is key. As mentioned previously, initiatives such as the National Biotechnology Strategy, as well as hubs such as Masdar City and Abu Dhabi's Helm Cluster, offer tax-free zones, research and development facilities, and sovereign-backed funding, which significantly de-risks investments and also offers JV opportunities to accelerate growth and impact for such investments.
Thank you for shedding light on the investment perspective. Professor Sharif, would you like to interact? Seems no connection yet. Okay. So, Dr. Wendy, how can sustainability metrics be integrated
That's okay.
into
No, it's
sorry?
okay. I mean, I'm not talking about. So there are many things already. There's the nice sightings and very interesting. Can you hear me?
Not
I'm not.
really.
Can you
Not
hear me?
really, Prof. No, it's not clear. Dr. Alama, can you hear Professor Fahmi?
No, I can't hear him. I can't.
So we continue with Mrs. Wendy.
Hi.
Hi.
I will.
So
Yeah,
I'll ask you again.
yeah. I caught the question. It is about how to integrate the sustainability metrics into our into clinical trials, basically. Um, so I think there are many different ways, but the most important ones that I see very clearly is using the existing digital tools that we already have. Something as simple as electronic application. There are from the countries that I have worked in for clinical trials, there are a lot of countries that are still requesting for paper submission in terms of their ethics application. So there will I have had teams asking to have a printing budget to print entire protocol, entire investigator brochure, just to provide to the different ethics committee members in order to review the application. So I find that quite wasteful. So that is already like we already have electronic application. We already use computers. We could have just sent in a package electronically. And then I think there's also one other thing which surprises me, but I is the part where we have a lot of electronic database even in our work as in clinical in contract research organization. There was still a lot of need to print down documents just to review, just to revise, just to as a reference, even though they are already in the industry, there is already very advanced technology to integrate all the different documents together. So that is also one point that I think can be used to reduce the waste. And another thing is also really about using the digital tools that we have is to encourage more remote monitoring. So allowing the CRAs to be able to access the electronic medical records in order to verify the source data. What I understand is that usually the CRAs, they have to they get the printouts from the hospitals to verify the information that is already in the participants' records. If there is a way for the CRAs to access, limit the access, because ultimately we care about the patient's what do you call it, patient's privacy. They don't allow it, so usually they get the printouts. I feel like these are very simple ways, but of course it requires a lot of integration, a lot of processes for both the hospitals and the industry to work on. Thank you.
Thank you for outlining these actionable approaches. Well, at this point, and to bring our discussion into a unified conclusion, I'd like to present a final closing question to all our distinguished speakers. If you could recommend one action, practical and achievable, that institutions should adopt immediately to accelerate sustainable life sciences innovation, what would it be? Dr. Juan, we begin with you, please.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to choose one, I think that it could be doing an analysis of what we want to achieve and learn from those that are leading the field. So I cannot obviously just say one policy or one action that a company or a government should take, but I think that depending on the field that we are working in, there are different countries that are taking the lead, and depending in the type of research or innovation that we are developing, or depending on the type of local problems that each individual market has, and are different between them. So I think that the reflection would be understanding what we can do as an individual nation, company, or organization, and just to mimic those that are taking, as I was saying, the lead in that space. And if we think that there is a gap that we can fill, obviously let's go for it. But there are different companies and governments and institutions that are working already on it. So I think that trying to have a global harmonization, depending on the objectives and the focus, I think that would be my conclusion. And what we should do is like learn from those who are moving towards the right path. I know that that's easier said than done, but yeah, there we are.
Thank you, Dr. Juan. Dr. Edita, your reflection, please.
Okay. Thank you so much. Well, I will try reflection shortly. So I think everything is, like I already said, about environmental factors, and I think the policies should align with preventive model, focusing on resilience, lifestyle medicine, education. Like I said, I think interdisciplinary collaboration we already address, and perhaps I will add clinical medicine and environmental science together as a risk and pathway for collaboration improvement. Perhaps lifestyle medicine and behavioral psychology. Like I said at the beginning, I strongly believe in power of our mind and our thoughts, and what we speak become our reality. So if there is one thing, I will truly empower community, youth, because they are our future. The youth is our, I call my students always the future leaders, and I'm so proud of them. So I think empowerment, health education, and understanding epigenetics, education and educate the youth about epigenetics, lifestyle medicine. I think this would be my core focus, because for the policies, the bigger changes, I know we need time, and that's why I will recommend youth, health education, environmental factors, and step-by-step research data and sustainable and healthcare management. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Edita. Dr. Mazen, your reflection, please.
So I think I would love to invite not just life sciences, any healthcare stakeholder based on the geography, okay, to just try to publish one paper next year, 2026, one paper, or do one webinar on how do you actually build your R&D capability to find your institutional impact on climate change in healthcare. Just whatever. It could be a simple article, it could be a paper, it could be a webinar. This might create momentum within the institution to try and educate people. And by the way, you can have a little tip, partner with a university. You have Dr. Edita, you have, partner with the university to build this target for 2026. Just one publication on how to build an eco-responsible digital innovation within your institution, and drive that momentum to develop competency, to spread awareness, and then that would be a great achievement for 2026.
Thank you, Dr. Mazen. Mrs. Zahra?
I think Mrs. Zahra had to leave. She has another meeting.
Yes. Mrs. Wendy, your reflection, please.
I think I echo what Dr. Aditya mentioned earlier about, encouraging the research about life sciences, and also the impact in the environment. And I think that it might not be just institution alone that can do the job. It requires the regulator, the industry, as well as the academia to be able to have this one action to encourage the research with the environmental conservation in mind. For example, the regulator and the industry, they can work on funding as well as the expedited approval. And then the academia, like Dr. Aditya, can be the one guiding how these research direction should go, just to make sure that we keep keep it in mind to always think about the environmental impact.
Thank you, Mrs. Wendy. Well, thank you to all our esteemed speakers for these exceptional insights. Your reflections today truly affirm how essential collective intelligence is in shaping a sustainable, resilient future for life sciences. Well, at this stage, let me check the contributions and questions shared by our engaged audience. Okay, the first question. As more and more technologies advance Western medicine techniques, I'm noticing a shift towards a more Eastern medicine philosophy, which is more individualized. Doctors, what opinions have you broadly heard about the philosophy around advancements in medicine, and what is needed for the unity in Western and Eastern medicine techniques and philosophies? Who would like to answer?
So if you allowed me, I would
Yes.
like to think we really need to empower our again youth, humanity, everyone. About how powerful is our body to heal. We should never give our power to healthcare. I call always hospitals, clinics are like support service. We need them. 20 years I educate healthcare practitioners, so I know how important role they are playing in the healthcare system. However, at the same time, I know how lost and a lot of struggle is on the side of the patient. So I think I'm quite traveling a lot to China and Shanghai, and I really respect the different healthcare, not only allopathic medicine, but herbs, Ayurveda, and natural way, I will say, in general. So shortly, I think in UAE, we have a lot of clinics which they are serving natural way or more preventive way before we will start with pharma. Again, I'm from Poland, and in my curriculum as a student and further when I was teaching, they did not allow us to talk about alternative medicine, for example. So I think it's all about different healthcare systems. And for me personally, traveling quite, States, China, Singapore as well. Now I'm here in UAE. I think we should take the lessons and learn from nature. I can link with biohacking as well because I'm into it as well. And I strongly believe I can prove I'm actually walking example that the body can heal when we will give the right environment. And again, going back to the environment, several factors, and shortly, lifestyle medicine is the tool. I think we need to not only concentrate on data, AI, and treating, we need to shift and move more to prevention and awareness, health education, empowering even 5-6 years old kids how powerful is subconscious mind and the basics, and then we will have general more healthy population.
Thank you, Dr. Edita.
Blending different type of medicine, Western and East.
I wanted to supplement Dr. Aditya's reply. So my origin is my ethnicity is Chinese. So in my family growing up, we also have a lot of Chinese traditional medicine that sometimes I would ask the clinical research director that I used to work for whether this and that is reliable. And he always asks me, what is the preclinical findings? Have they done any ELISA to prove how this and that combines with the medicine? What's going to happen? So I think for the audience member who asked this question, I wanted to say that if there's really an interest to know exactly how the Eastern medicine can combine with the Western medicine, I think it's a good idea to read the journals to find out how the Western medicine come to the drug discovery, from drug discovery to the molecule being in clinical trial. So first of all, for example, for Chinese medicines, let's say, I don't know, ginger. Ginger has a supposed healing power, and isolate ginger and then do ELISA and see how it goes in the mice model, and then go into human trial. I think that's the only way to combine the two different worlds in order to find out the effectiveness. I don't know if that answered the questions. Combining with Dr. Aditya's answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Wendy. We have another question. In the emerging world of telehealth, how can healthcare practitioners become more comfortable adopting new technologies? It seems that even if there is sufficient research, professionals remain resistant to changing their tried and true methods. It was a comment from Laya. Laya, okay.
Yeah, I can take this one if you want. And just
Yes, please.
following up on the previous question, just from another perspective, maybe because I'm a little bit biased. When I read more individualized medicine, I thought about precision medicine, and as you were mentioning, all the epigenetics. So I'm from the generation that grew launching Keytruda and all the antibodies for oncology. And that's a great example about personalized medicine because um, developing any type of drug, it's very expensive. So we see the ones that work, but not the ones that have been like closed during the process, maybe in preclinical trials or in clinical trials. So I think that in terms of efficiency, precision medicine is it's good. That's why biomarkers, if we could know actually which type of drug give to any particular patient at any particular moment in any type of disease, that could be the sangria, right? I mean, that would be fantastic. But yeah, so I think that we are moving towards that way, and that's another total conversation. That's why I think that we are moving towards that type of clinical trials and more precise patient focus, because drugs are more expensive and market access is becoming harder and harder. But in terms of telehealth or digital health or what you wanted to call it, actually that's by education as well. I mean, or as a trial. I mean, at the end, you have to have enough proof to, but not only with digital health. I mean, obviously, I mean, by education, so habits are different to change. But one thing is getting used to that, and also getting the clinician used to that, because of they know that the technologies that they are acquiring has good outcomes. I was recently talked about a digital platform for diabetes that it was initially implemented in the UK, and I was asked by Mexico if it was a good app or not. I mean, what were the outcomes? So I think that from my point of view, there are like two answers. One is you have to have enough data and show it and educate the clinicians that are going to use it and have your first test run, if that makes sense. And obviously then afterwards you need to share those outcomes to other clinicians from other markets with that initial information. So, but education is key. I mean, and the industry that is developing, marketing or selling those type of products should take that responsibility. It's not only giving the tool, but also learning how to use that tool, if that makes sense.
Thank you. So the third question, when it comes to advancing healthcare and health system development, what methods of facilitating public-private partnerships differ in the global South and the global North?
That's a very good question. How we define global South and global North? So from the equator, I think one of the things that I've learned over my years in different countries is that public policies are going to make the whole difference, because I've been in an ecosystem where you have their private equity to invest in projects, but the lack of public commitment, and I literally mean governments, in terms of what we were mentioning at the beginning, tech transfer opportunities, who owns the IP, what are the clauses or the regulations in the contract for, because at the end this is what facilitates the entrepreneurship at the end. If the university is going to own the 100% of the company, of the IP, what's the motivation that an entrepreneur is going to have to create the company if it's not theirs anymore, apart from the ethical one? So well, I mean, facilitating public and private partnerships, generally private, in my expertise, private companies, it doesn't matter what they do, if it's early stage, venture capital, clinical trials, the actual pharmaceutical industry, they are very open to collaborate. I think that, and that's my opinion and my experience, I think that an ecosystem, and I've mentioned that a couple of times during this seminar, with the pillars, I think that public policies will attract private companies and investors. So I think that, and with that, you will have obviously the economical side. So then you need people and good science. But I think that, yeah, public investments or public policies are key developing those public-private partnerships. And the difference are that maybe some countries from the South, global South, are not used to that, and maybe it's not their primarily focus. And in some countries you can understand that, and some others you cannot. But I think that making healthcare, life sciences, entrepreneurship, innovation like a main priority in your country, that generates jobs, that generates revenues, international. So at the end, you enrich your country with this type of ventures. So yeah, that would be maybe the difference, that probably they have other priorities, or they don't have developed the tools for facilitating that interactions. If that makes sense. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Thank you so much, Dr. Juan. Dr. Allama, the
Yeah.
floor is yours.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Amna. Thank you to all of you for your impressive participation. Mashallah alik. It was very amazing. We are actually going to close today's webinar, which was very interesting and also interactive. Thanks to all speakers. Thanks to my colleagues from healthcare and well-being community, and my co-leader, Dr. Aimna, for their participation, Dr. Borhan and Professor Sharif. Thanks to Jeddah. Thanks to Global Innovation Institute and Global Innovation Summit. This is not our last webinar. Inshallah, shortly we will share with you the recording along with the conference paper, but not the conference paper, the traditional one, but the conference paper with your recommendations, your insightful, aligned with the key points already discussed also in COP30. As I used to say, the most important is what it is not what we are saying during conferences and webinar, but what we are going to do and what will be happening after each conference and each webinar. We are not here just to speak or just to talk. We are here to make impact and to take action by keeping talking also. Then thank you so much to all of you, and hope to see you again